From Ireland to Italy, from Spain to Norway, hiking is hip. Hiking is young, hiking is green and healthy, and you can only get up close when you're on foot. Everywhere in Europe.
Sometimes it's hard to match the topography to the map because there's so many small hills and ups and downs. But the way is so clearly marked that it's I have to try really hard to get lost here. So I think I'm going that way.
Bradley Mayhew is British and lives in the United States. He writes travel and trekking guides. Usually he's in faraway Asia, but now he's exploring the most beautiful hiking trails of Europe.
Well, I'm here in southern Italy. This is the town of Sorrento, the Sorrentine Peninsula. On one side you've got the Bay of Naples, Mount Vesuvius, Pompeii, the big city, all iconic sites. And on the other side you've got the Amalfi Coast. I'm going to be following a network of mountain paths that take me along parts of the Sentiero degli, the path of the gods. I've heard it's one of the most beautiful hiking parts in this part of Europe. So I'm looking forward to it. Time to start hiking.
One last look at Mount Vesuvius, and then it's a steep climb uphill. At the church Santa Maria del Castello, Bradley reaches a pass that has connected Naples with the Amalfi Coast since the days of antiquity. An ancient stone-paved road leads to Positano. The painter Paul Klee once described the village as the only place in the world conceived on a vertical rather than a horizontal axis. Back then, Positano was a sleepy fishing port.
It's pretty much from the 1950s that things started to pick up for Positano. John Steinbeck wrote about it in 1950. The Stones came here a few times in the late 60s, even wrote a song in one of the cafes here. Rudolf Nureyev stayed in an island just off the coast. And now it's very much a place for the rich and famous. It's a very affluent place, superbly picturesque. It's a little bit too busy for me. I love the place, but I'm looking forward to getting up into the mountains somewhere a little bit quieter.
Bradley organised a hiking partner via the internet. Anna Naclerio is from a mountain village close to Amalfi, and she has a lot of friends along the coast. The Amalfi Coast extends southwards from Naples. Bradley's planned a week for his hike, which will take him along the Monti Latari, or Milk Mountains, through the town that gave the coast its name, and all the way to Vietri sul Mare. When hiking here, you need to be prepared for a lot of stairs.
Positano, nice.
Yep.
And how many more steps do we have now?
1400.
1400?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, like this. Oh, yes. From
1.5 hours and many steps later, Anna and Bradley reach the village of Nocelle. Time to take a break. A lemon unique to the region grows here on the Amalfi Coast. Found nowhere else in the world, it tastes almost sweet and is particularly rich in vitamin C.
Before the lady,
of course.
and then the man.
Grazie, Tadina. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Thank you very much. Oh, that's nice. Fresh.
The most popular hiking path on the Amalfi Coast begins in Nocelle. It's one of the most beautiful trails in all of Italy, the Sentiero degli dei, the path of the gods. The Amalfi Coast has a year-round hiking season, though the summer months can be rather hot. As a hiking guide, Anna backpacks everywhere in the mountains off the coast, but her favourite hike remains the Path of the Gods.
What's this? It's so brand new. Have you ever used this before? Look at
Yeah,
this.
it-
That's a water bottle that's been
I
used.
do use the bottles. It is you having some problem with your bottles.
So why is it actually called the Sentiero degli Dei? I mean, we're Path of the Gods, but why?
The name comes from some quotations of artists having passed through this path and having named this like that. Because for us, the local people, it has always been the path, il sentiero, we say.
It's not because it's up high?
No, we have a higher option to this, couple of higher options, but this is like the best. You can stay up, then go down, find the village, stay there, like find a beer or a place to stay overnight, and then you go up again for the mountains, for these very ancient walking paths.
The paths of the Monti Latari were created long ago by shepherds and farmers. Now they're used mainly by hikers, but whenever it rains, they're joined a few days later by mushroom pickers. Antonio Cuomo is one of Anna's friends. They both come from the same village.
Allora mo ce ne possiamo andare, Antonio.
Porcine, bebolette, parasol, many valued and edible wild mushrooms can be found in the Monti Latari.
You've been bitten? Oh, that's great. All from here?
All from me, yeah, from this forest.
In a couple of hours?
Yeah.
Pretty good. Is this a good place to find porcine mushrooms?
For this time of the year, yes.
What's this type? I've not seen this kind before.
We call this mushroom mazza di tamburo.
Mazza di tamburo. Very nice.
Yeah.
Do you think we could borrow a couple of these and cook some nice dinner? Yeah?
Yes, borrow, sure.
Maybe we have
you very
a
much.
bottle of wine together, bottle of my red wine.
Your red wine and your mushrooms.
Yeah.
Antonio, I like you already.
Okay. I'm happy that you are enjoying it.
That's why Bradley likes to hike with locals. Through them, you get to meet the people who live and work on the trail. Ludovica Crudele is a frequent visitor also to the Path of the Gods. Her birds of prey require daily training.
Here she comes.
Ludovica and her husband, Andrea, breed and train falcons and hawks.
Step by step. Bravo, yes.
They've got very good eyesight, haven't they?
It's perfect. They can see a pigeon in about 10 kilometers of distance.
10 kilometers?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty good. They're good hunters, I guess.
A group can hunt big rabbit or hares
Big prey.
of 5-6 kilos.
Why do you have the birds?
With this animal, we do an important job, bird control, inside to the airport, scrapyard, and other site where are many pigeons.
It's okay.
Close, please. Oh.
Wow, that is an impressive bird. It's not too heavy. It's quite
No,
light.
it's not too heavy.
Hi, you okay? Strong claws. Isn't she?
Yes, very strong.
She's getting impatient. She wants to go flying.
For centuries, the local inhabitants have worked with nature to shape the steep slopes of the Amalfi Coast. The terraces are still used and cultivated today.
We have two of them, so they are from Agerola, you know. Buongiorno.
Anna and Peppe Sorrentino are on the way to their hillside vineyard.
They are collecting the grapes today. And they're just on the way.
The couple invite Anna and Bradley to join them picking grapes. It's only a small detour, so why not?
I think that's an interesting thing.
This one piece will make 52 layers.
Watch on mobile devices or the big screen. All for free. No subscription required.
Anna's family grows Tronto. Although it's a varietal native to the region, it's increasingly a less cultivated grape here. These days, very few people on the Amalfi Coast still live from agriculture alone. Anna's an attorney, but she would never even think of giving up her family's terraces.
Our forefathers made many sacrifices for this place. But of course we also do it because we like it. And because we like how the wine tastes. And also to pass the tradition on to our children.
Well, it's quite surprising, I think, to find such hands-on, intensive agriculture, hard work, so close to big tourism centres. You know, it's but certainly harvesting is a great time. It brings the whole community together.
As soon as all the grapes are harvested, they're also stomped. Anna and Peppe produce around 800 litres of wine a year. It's primarily for their own consumption. The wine isn't filtered and is aged for 2 years before it's drunk.
I'm amazed how many products you get from here. You get the olives, you got figs, you got the lemons. You make the cheese, the tomatoes.
And these people had to produce what they needed here in the place. They didn't go to the shops. And so they're still used. Is it so, Anna?
Yes.
You're still used to make things at home here.
Sometimes neighbours or friends also stop by to pick up a bottle or two.
Prendere un po' di vino.
Ah, capito. Stiamo facendo insieme il Sentiero. E che sei venuto a fare? This is also Italians. We always come the right moment. When the bottle of wine is open, then Italians come.
Leonardo Scala has invited Anna and Bradley to visit his home. His family lives down on the coast, in the village of Prano. The church of San Gennaro is from the 16th century. The dome and church square are decorated with glazed ceramic tiles. Noteworthy examples of Mediterranean architecture can be found everywhere along the coast. Leonardo's father, Pasquale, builds musical instruments. He specializes in lutes. Pasquale works at home, so his son's arrival with unexpected guests is a pleasant diversion.
Tutto bene, a lei? Tutto bene?
Pasquale, ciao.
Bradley. And thank you, Bradley.
Bradley finds out from Anna that Pasquale also makes guitars, an instrument synonymous with the music of the region.
Special event, but also for folk music.
Instruments like this need a lot of time. For the guitar I'm working on now, I'm using the same materials as in the old days. This here is inlaid bone and ebony. Leonardo does this work. We split the responsibilities. I make the body and handle, and Leonardo does the ornamentation. And that's how we push ahead with the work.
Many young people here move to the city or go into the tourist trade. Leonardo, however, chose to pursue the traditional family handicraft. Bradley and Anna have decided to spend the night in Prano. To go with the wine from the mountains, there's pasta e fagioli. Beans are sautéed with garlic and celery. A little water is added, and once the beans are soft, they're cooked together with the pasta, all finished with a dash of olive oil. A visiting neighbour plays one of the guitars from Pasquale's workshop. Pasquale knows many of the old folk songs of his home country. Most of them are about unrequited love. Not far away from Prano is the beach of Fiorore. Many hikers spend the night down on the coast. Breakfast on the beach is worth the long, steep hike back up the mountain afterwards. A climb of 630 meters is required to reach the plateau of Aggerola. In the village of Bomerano, Anna and Bradley once again take up the trail along the mountains. While the coast is overflowing with tourists, it's a bit quieter in Bomerano. Many hikers start the trail here, and it's an excellent place to pick up some provisions.
This is one of the first places. We do it like the typical ways. Indeed, this is one of the first slow food places in Campania, as you see over there, and that is named Fior di Latte.
Fior di Latte. It's not mozzarella, though, because it looks like mozzarella.
It looks like mozzarella. The main difference is the milk. This is not buffalo milk, this is cow milk.
Okay, but and the production is the same?
Yes, the process is just the same.
Yeah.
They have to process it a bit longer, so they can really weave it like a dress, or they just make a ball and then they cut, and in Italian we say mozzare, that is cut by hands, and you have the typical
that's where you get the mozzarella.
Yes,
aha.
Yes.
Ding.
Ding.
Okay.
Yes.
I understand.
Yes.
When it comes to hiking provisions, however, the hard provolone is actually better suited. Steep, elaborately terraced slopes, dramatically scenic and historic places. In 1997, the Amalfi Coast was declared a World Cultural Heritage Site by UNESCO. The coast bears the name of a town that became rich and powerful through maritime trade, Amalfi. Where once goods from Cairo and Constantinople were traded and sold, tourists from around the world now crowd. Between the 9th and 11th century, Amalfi was the foremost maritime power in Italy, more powerful than Genoa, Pisa, or Venice. At Amalfi's main square, Anna and Bradley have a rendezvous. Professore Giuseppe Gargano is a city historian. He wants to show them parts of Amalfi where tourists rarely wander. There isn't room for large settlements anywhere along the coast. Consequently, houses have always been built high and then been connected above the alleyways.
This palace here in the Byzantine Quarter is called Atrium Hospitium. The building has 4 floors and housed only one family, a rich merchant family named Montincolo.
There were a number of families like the Montincolos during the city's golden age. The trade with the Orient had made them rich.
Il motivo della grandezza di Amalfi è il fatto che gli amalfitani per primi
Amalfi's grandeur lies in the fact that the merchants here conducted trade with people who were enemies with each other. As a sea power on good terms with Byzantines and Arabs, Amalfi could bring goods from there to the west.
Quindi arricchendosi enormemente.
Amalfi became enormously rich in gold, fabrics, and spices, as documents of the time reveal.
The wealth and cosmopolitan nature of Amalfi is above all reflected by the town's cathedral. Its origins go back to the 10th century. Byzantine, Arabic and Romanesque influences merge in obvious harmony. The pillars support decorative pointed arches, a stylistic device borrowed from Islamic architecture. The three-aisle interior nave, richly decorated with golden ornamentation in the style of the late Baroque. The cathedral is dedicated to the Apostle St. Andrew, an early disciple of Christ and the patron saint of Amalfi. The next morning, Anna has to take care of some personal business.
Buongiorno, my name is Bradley. I'm here to see Giuseppe.
Yes, mister, welcome. Come in.
Thank you, grazie.
Bradley uses the time for another excursion into the history of Amalfi. He's visiting Giuseppe Amendola Amatruda, the junior manager of an old family business.
Paper we produced for
Giuseppe's family has been in the paper business since the 15th century, and they supply the Vatican, amongst others.
Oh, a very good plan.
The paper mills in Amalfi are powered by water. Long ago, rags were the raw material. Today, it's cellulose.
It looks like this part of the process hasn't changed for centuries. It's very traditional.
No, it's exactly the same. This machinery was used always also in the 13th century when the paper was introduced in Amalfi by the Arabs.
These days, only the finest paper is made by hand. Produced in small quantities, it's very expensive.
Do you want to try it? I would love to try it, but I have a feeling it's harder than it looks. Well, in the medieval days, Amalfi was the great European gateway to the Middle East. So a lot of trade came through here, a lot of technology came through here. And this was one of the very first places in Europe where technology of paper came to arrive. So this is where the first paper mills were set up around the 13th century. And this was really the major production of paper in Europe. And I think Giuseppe's family is now pretty much the only one left still producing traditional paper.
Okay. Oh.
Hey.
It's your shit.
Well, it's okay. I suggest you give this to your worst clients, the ones that don't pay on time. They can have this bit. Grazie, madam. Thank you very much.
Once the leaves have dried, the quality is controlled, sheet by sheet. From Amalfi, Anna and Bradley walk up the valley of the river Canetto. In the 1950s, a flood destroyed the last of the paper mills here. Anna leads Bradley to a small nature reserve. Hot, humid southerly winds give this sheltered valley a unique, almost subtropical microclimate.
Just 15 minutes off the main trail, right at the end of the Valle dei Molini, there's this hidden gully full of waterfalls, ferns, completely different climate, completely different environment from the Amalfi Coast. You'd never know this was here. It's a real surprise.
In October, the last lemons of the season are harvested. For the farmers and their helpers, it's once again time to knuckle down to business. Hikers along the Amalfi Coast are sure to pass by lemon groves. These groves here belong to the lemon farmer Antonio Palombo. The 77-year-old takes pride in his sfusato amalfitano. The lemon is named sfusato because of its spindle-like shape.
In summer, we graft it onto bitter orange trees. That's why they grow smooth and long. The lemons from Calabria are much rounder and not as nice and consistent as ours. After our lemons are packaged into crates, who knows where they end up? Who knows?
They're not like totally sweet, but they're quite sweet for a lemon. The inside is still quite lemony, but the pith itself is really quite sweet. The outside is where you get all the fragrance and where the flavour of the limoncello comes from. So yeah, these are the kings of lemons. These are the best lemons you can get in the world. They've been growing lemons here for hundreds and hundreds of years. There's apparently evidence of mosaics in Pompeii. I think the lemons were already here in some form, but then the Arabs brought different types of lemons that mixed with the local lemons. So this is this back-breaking hands-on work has been going on for generations and generations. It's actually part of the landscape now.
A crate should weigh exactly 57 kilos. The carriers are paid by the dealer, who always shows up personally during the harvest.
Everything comes to a head at our company. 90% of the farmers bring their lemons to us, and we market them. Everything is done by hand, with love and passion, up until the lemons land on the tables of the people.
After the harvest, everyone eats together. Carlo Di Riso is the largest lemon dealer on the coast and a passionate cook. He's making lemon pizza for his workers, with lemon peel, lemon leaves, and, last but not least, lemon oil. The Amalfi lemon is also used for pasta sauce or risotto. It's a staple foodstuff on the coast.
Buonissima. No, signora.
Anna and Bradley haven't made much progress today, but the goal, the village of Ravello, isn't much further. And on the way, there's the ruins of a Romanesque church. The basilica was built in honour of St. Eustus, a general in the army of the Roman Emperor Hadrian. He converted to Christianity and died a martyr. The richly decorated capitals on top of the pillars emulate ancient prototypes and create a connection to the glorious past of the Roman Empire.
We're
at the church of the De Flito family, an old noble family. They had it built in the 13th century in honor of their patron saint, St. Eustace. A place like this you can come back to again and again, and each time you see it with different eyes.
So
what's the village up on the ridge?
This is Ravello.
From the windows of the basilica, you can already see Ravello, where Bradley and Anna want to spend the night. In the 13th century, Ravello replaced Amalfi as the most important city on the coast. The nobility and merchant families settled there and built magnificent estates. A family of ship owners and bankers had the Villa Ruffolo constructed. In the mid-19th century, it was acquired by a Scottish industrialist. He renovated the building and designed the gardens. Richard Wagner passed through Ravello in the spring of 1880. The gardens of Villa Ruffolo are supposedly the inspiration for Klingsor's Magic Garden, a setting in his opera Parsifal. In honour of Wagner's short visit to Ravello, the town holds an annual music festival. Bradley and Anna are lucky enough to meet two musicians who are preparing for their performance that evening.
The concert is today, or?
Questa sera. Two hands and two hands.
They're going to play excerpts from Wagner's operas arranged as four-hand piano duets.
It's my part.
Yeah, that's not so easy.
The two invite Anna and Bradley to come watch them practice.
Especially, I think, romantic composers, they've drawn great inspiration from the landscape, from the view. And that tradition continues here today. You have musicians still coming here for the great festival. So it's, yeah, you can feel that here. You know, the landscape adds to the music, I think.
Federica Monti and Fabio Bianco are playing the overture from Tannhäuser. Wagner evokes Germanic myths in his operas, but the country of his desire was Italy. He visited the country 9 times before he died here in Venice. The pianists see no contradiction in playing Wagner's dark music under the bright sun of Italy.
I think it fits to any environment, especially when it's as well written and transcribed as this piece. Also, the fact that Wagner visited Ravello makes having this music at this location something very special. Wagner was inspired to his last work here, to Parsifal, and that also makes it special for us to play here.
Federica and Fabio are not only a twosome at the piano.
For us, this is normal by now. We developed our feelings and work life together from the start. We've always been together, 24 hours a day.
We studied together, we performed together, and we've travelled together to concerts around the world, always on the piano.
From Ravello, it's downhill again. Less than an hour away is the town of Minori, where Bradley and Anna are once again meeting someone. The market for the coastal lemon had bottomed out when traders like Carlo de Riso managed to get the declaration of origin for the Sfusato Amalfitano legally protected at EU level. Today, Carlo sells 3 million Amalfi lemons annually, all across the world.
Our ancestors left us a legacy and a mission to bring the Amalfi lemon to the front. I think when the passion hits you, your blood turns into lemon juice.
Carlo was saying that, in the 90s, a lot of lemon growers were starting to give up the business, let the terraces decline a little bit. But then with the recognition of the Amalfi lemons, with the fixed prices, that the factories like this guarantee purchasing power for the lemon growers, it becomes worthwhile for them. That protects the terraces, the lemon groves, it keeps the economy of the communities intact. Yeah, it's breathed new life into the area, I think.
The peel of the Amalfi lemon is used to make limoncello. Carlos shares the recipe with Bradley. First, add 1.5 kilos of lemon peel to a litre of alcohol.
Now let it steep.
Oh, dark place?
Dark place, dark.
For 3 days.
Diventa così. Poi, prendi, butta dentro.
Then dissolve 1 kilo of sugar in 1.5 litres of water and stir the mixture into the alcohol.
It's magic.
Such a great colour.
This is a limoncello. It's
ready?
Ready. Finish. Okay.
So you should drink it very cold.
Yeah?
The lemon liqueur of the Amalfi Coast is best drunk well chilled.
Good. Bravo, Bradley.
Salute.
Bravo. Salute.
Oh, yeah. Perfect. You've done this before.
Okay. Next year you work here.
I'm busy next year.
Okay.
Once again, the day starts with a climb. There are no roads in this part of the coastal mountains. The fruits or vegetables that are grown here are transported by mules. The penultimate day of the hike ends for Anna and Bradley at the village of Chatara. Tourism has arrived here too, but many of the townspeople in Chatara, like their forefathers, still live off fishing and fish processing. At Laboratorio Nettuno, his Neptune laboratory, Giulio Giordano produces a rediscovered delicacy.
Stiamo lavorando.
Famous anchovies.
Sì. Ci hanno portato le alici stamattina verso le 5:30.
We're working away. They delivered the anchovies this morning at 5. First, we have to separate the head and gut the fish.
Poi l'importante è questo.
What's important is to use only coarse salt.
Prendi il sale doppio.
You sprinkle it all over, you see?
Vedi? Lo facciamo macerare.
The mixture is left to ferment for up to 2 years in barrels like this one. Then there's nothing left but fish paste and salt. And the best of the fish goes into the sauce. In the end, we get about 1 litre per barrel, at the most.
Chatara is the last place on the entire Mediterranean coast where fish sauce is still produced.
Yeah, the Greeks and the Romans made a fish sauce called garum. It was a little bit funkier. They used the stomachs, the intestines, the head. I think that was a stronger flavour. They didn't have many spices or herbs back then, so they needed that as a condiment to liven up their food. This is a descendant of that, but it's much more refined. It's much more of a smoother, more subtle taste.
It's the final day of hiking along the Amalfi Coast. One last time in the mountains, and then the final slow descent. Raito is a suburb of Vietri sul Mare, which is famous all over Italy for its pottery. In Vietri and the surrounding villages, the potter's wheel has been turning for centuries in dozens of small manufacturers like this one, belonging to Lucio Liguori. Lucio specializes in functional ceramic wares. Each and every plate, bowl or vase is made by hand.
We were wondering why there are so many potters in Vietri.
Vietri is a ceramic center. If we consider the archaeological sites, the Greeks who were here, the ceramics began way back then. The tradition was lost and then resumed in Roman times. So the ceramic tradition of Vietra is really old.
The whole family helps out. Each piece is hand-painted. Bauhaus-influenced German artists discovered the pottery workshops in the 1920s. The artists stayed and began producing and painting ceramics as well, thus making Vietri sul Mare famous around the world.
Some of the pots really look like they date back to Roman times, the design and the form, almost amphora-like in their structure. But then some of them are really bang up to date in the 21st century. I think They got a new influx of ideas, especially from Germany in the 1920s and 30s, and you can see that. It's a nice mixture of the old and the new coming together.
Finally, Vietri sul Mare. Bradley's trip took 1 week, from Sorrento via Amalfi to Vietri. From here, he'll take a train to Naples. But Bradley still has time for one last treat, a lemon ice cream. By following Anna on the trails through the Monti Latari, Bradley got to discover one of the most famous coastlines of Italy, as beautiful as expected, but refreshingly different.
What I hadn't really realized is how quickly you get off the main coastal highway and head off into a completely different world up in the hills. Full of lemon groves, vineyards, food production still going on as it has done for generations. That's beautiful to see. And the people have been fantastic. You know, I really have to thank Anna for that. Her charm and her infectious laugh has opened up doors throughout the Amalfi Coast for us. So I'd say that was also a real highlight. So yeah, if you're looking for some spectacular scenery, some beautiful timeless villages, some good strenuous hiking, if you don't mind lots of steps, it's hard to beat the Amalfi Coast.